Someone asked if I ever feel resentful doing the majority of the housework. No, because does my husband ever feel resentful bringing home the majority of the money that pays for this house, my food, my clothes, my makeup, our dog? Like, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, but my name is Caitlin and I run the blog called Mrs. Midwest. Today we are going to be doing a long-awaited Q&A. It's going to revolve around pregnancy, my plans for the future, myself, my life, but also just some great questions that you guys have sent in. I do want to say thank you for your patience with me. I have not been creating consistent content on my blog, on my Instagram, or my YouTube channel, and that is due to my desire to have a stress-free pregnancy. And no one has been pressuring me to create content right now, and I don't know if you guys realize how relieving that is. It's just allowed me to have a really serene and calm second trimester. I'm now in my third trimester. I am due January 31st, so he could be a February baby, he could be a mid-January baby. We don't really know, but either way, he will be born 2021, and everything is looking great. I got a bunch of questions about how the pregnancy's been going, how he's been doing. Back in September when we got the anatomy ultrasound, they actually took 76 individual photos of different parts of his body, from his organs to his bones, different appendages, his brain, everything. And we got to see that he is perfectly healthy. He has all 4 chambers of his heart. You know, we are just so grateful. And the pregnancy itself has been really smooth. The thing I love about the third trimester is I feel him kicking all the time. Like, this baby does not stop kicking and pushing his, I just felt it just now. He pushes his arms and his legs into all 4 corners of my body, but I love it because it's so comforting to feel him move and to think towards when I become a new mom. So pregnancy has been going really well. The next question I received a lot is, what kind of birth am I planning on having? People raise the idea of like a home birth versus hospital birth, and I am definitely having a hospital birth. First of all, we live 35 minutes away from the hospital, so it's just, in my opinion, it's not safe to have a home birth with those kind of risks. You know, I've heard the philosophy behind home birth can sometimes be, you know, the more familiar environment and the more peaceful you feel in your environment, the better the birth will go. But for me, being at home would totally stress me out. Like, I want to be in a hospital. I want a team of doctors near. I want all the different tools near. You know, hospitals don't stress me out. I've had surgery before as a child. I actually had 2 hernia surgeries when I was 6 or 7 years old. Like, I don't mind hospitals. I've always received really good care, and so far throughout my pregnancy, my hospital and doctor have just been great. So definitely hospital birth. Another baby related question we've gotten a lot is, have we picked out a name? And yes, of course, but we are keeping it a secret. Someone asked which of my videos is my favorite so far that I've made. So I actually cringe a lot at some of my older videos. Not so much because of what I'm saying or the content. It's like the way I made the videos. I would often have these terrible angles and really poor quality, and it's kind of embarrassing, I guess you could say. So I don't like to look at my older videos, even though I do still stand by everything I've said since I've started YouTube. I would say from my early videos, one of my favorite ones, at least for the content, would be the video about not destroying your beauty, the video about the goddess mentality, and then I also really enjoyed my vlogs from last fall, my get ready for a wedding with me video. It was so fun to have that memory of my friend's wedding in a vlog. And so I think my vlogs are my favorite to look back on, but for content, like the importance of the content, I think some of those earlier hard-hitting videos I'm really proud of. The next question is, do you ever deal with jealousy? Yes. I would say I used to struggle with this a lot. Nowadays, it's not as much of much of a problem in my life, but it used to be very overwhelming, just feeling jealous of people I would see online with way bigger houses, or when we were trying to get pregnant, I would feel jealous of people who seemed to just get pregnant at the drop of the hat. And I had to really work through a lot of that because the jealousy bred so much bitterness and resentment towards those people, and that's not Christ-like. That's not how I want to be as a person. So I had to do a lot of repentance in my faith, because the 10th commandment does say, "Thou shalt not covet." You're not supposed to desire so strongly like what someone else has. And even the epistles and in the New Testament, there's so much talk of godliness through contentment is great gain. You know, having that contentment in what the Lord has given us, and having a spirit of gratitude. And so I would say through gratitude, through accepting what the Lord had given me and realizing He's not this Santa in the sky who owes me presents all year round. You know, life is hard, life is broken. That's a philosophy of the Christian faith, that we will be persecuted, we will suffer, we will have trials. Just look at the book of Job. I'm reading it right now, and realizing that I don't deserve anything inherently, that really helped fix a lot of my jealousy and envy. I'm instead so grateful for who God made me, where I am, and the things I have. And it's not because I'm this great person who overcame envy or jealousy. It's because of Scripture and the Lord and His great mercy. I wouldn't be able to overcome jealousy on my own because I'm a sinful, broken human being, and God is so great. So yes, I struggle with jealousy, but the Lord has delivered me from that being a constant sin, I would say, in my life. Someone asked, what am I most excited for with the baby? I love thinking about it. I love thinking about our future together. I would say I am most excited to have experiences with him, but also to have those milestones. I just know it's going to go by so fast because the past 6 months of my pregnancy seem to have just flown by, right? And so I know that those first 6 months of his life, I know it's going to be really hard. You know, there's going to be a lot of sleeplessness. My body's going to have to heal. I'm going to have to adjust to my new identity. I'm going to have to restructure my social life. And I think I'm just excited to, you know, zero in during that difficult time and see his milestones. And also I would say to see, I'm excited to see my husband as a father. He already has like dad energy, and not in like a dorky way, but just like in he's just the most capable person ever. He's one of those guys that's just, they know everything. They can, you know, roughhouse and have fun. They're just a guy's guy, but also so tender-hearted and fun and cuddly. And I'm just so excited to see my husband become a father. Someone asked if we had difficulty conceiving, and I did address this in my vlog. I think it was my first pregnancy vlog. You can read my story there, but basically in a nutshell, I went on birth control, which I'm very anti-hormonal birth control, at least for myself, because of the way it affected my body so negatively. It took about 11 months for the hormones to leave my system. It took 9 months to get a regular period. It took another 4 months after that to start ovulating. And actually the first month my period was healthy, and the first month I ovulated, we got pregnant. But it took so long to get to that because of the hormonal birth control. So yes, we had difficulty conceiving, but it wasn't because of mystery reasons. We knew why, and it was just one of those things where time had to take its course. Someone asked if I couldn't be a homemaker, what would I be? I don't know. I would sometimes think about this. You know, my degree is in communications, so maybe I would still, you know, be online kind of the way I am. But I think I was always interested in interior design, or maybe even the hospitality industry. Someone asked if we celebrate Halloween. That's kind of in the past, that you can tell this is an old Q&A question. But no, we don't. Halloween actually falls on Reformation Day, which for Reformed Christians, Protestant Christians, that's actually a huge day. That's the day where we celebrate the Reformation. You can Google what that means. I couldn't even explain it all to you if I sat here for the next 40 minutes of this video. So I would be more keen to celebrate Reformation Day with my children. I get this question every Q&A, and this one is, what do I do for my teeth? Why do my teeth look the way they are? And I will answer it again. So these are my teeth. They're natural, they're not veneers. I don't whiten them. My dentist told me that people have different colors of bones. Your bones, which teeth are bones, are different shades of ivory. And so some people naturally have whiter teeth than others. I think I just naturally have a lighter shade of ivory bone because I don't try to avoid, at least before I was pregnant, I didn't try to avoid coffee or anything. I did have braces when I was in middle school, but I never had crooked teeth before braces. It was just to kind of bring the teeth back a little bit. Honestly, I still kind of feel like I didn't need braces. I feel like it was a racket by the orthodontist. But yeah, I brush and I floss. But if you want to do whitening, go for it. I think it's a great option. Someone asked, how much of the baby will I feel comfortable sharing with followers? This is hard because if I could pick and choose and just pick all of you people who support me and have my best interest in mind, I would probably share a lot. But you can't do that with the internet because all of those people come with people who either they're indifferent to you or maybe they even have bad intentions towards you and to anything associated with you. So that would include my child. And some people just have no limits of what they're willing to be cruel about, and I wouldn't want to subject my child to that. So this is a really difficult question. I don't know. We don't know yet. I think we're going to err more on the side of not showing a lot. I don't think we're going to just completely never show him to you guys because you've been so lovely and supportive, but he's not going to be a cast of characters in my vlogs or on my channel or on my Instagram. You know, you guys barely see my husband. It might be that level where it's like, you know he exists, but it's like you don't really know him, just to preserve privacy. Someone asked, will I ever discuss the hard parts of life? Probably not on YouTube. That was never the purpose of my YouTube. My YouTube was more for teaching, and then, teaching, what do I know? I'm not a teacher of this stuff, but discussing femininity, homemaking, my ideas on fashion, and the current culture that us women find ourselves in. It was never intended to be my personal diary, but if you are interested in more of the hard parts of my life, you can find a lot of blog posts with me discussing internal struggles, things about my faith on my blog. But for me, the internet is a fun kind of place or an educational sphere. It's a place for me to connect with you guys. It's not a place for me to discuss my personal problems, and that's out of, I would say, self-preservation, because if you guys haven't noticed, the internet is a pretty mean place. Someone asked if we are planning on homeschooling. I think so. I went to Christian schooling from kindergarten to my university days, and my husband went to public school. And so when we first got together, we kind of didn't know. But with the way schools are these days, we just do not align with a lot of the things that they're teaching young children. So I could see homeschooling maybe up until middle school, more to the point where we can have discussions with our children about what they're learning. Someone asked if we have a TV. Yes, we do. It was in our basement before we tore it apart for the renovation. And we do enjoy watching movies together. We're not really people who watch shows. I always get so bored with shows. I have started so many different shows in my life just to drop off halfway through. No matter how intense the drama, it just cannot keep my interest. So we have a TV, but it's more for date night purposes than a consistent part of our daily routine. All right, the next person asked, how do I deal with negativity online? How do I deal with negativity online? I would say I just don't engage with it, because I think that there's things that are negative, and then there are things that make us feel negative. And for example, someone could, be a troll, like actually slandering your name, trying to contact your family members, or being cruel or making unfounded accusations. That's actually negative. But then there are things that will just make me feel negative that aren't, trolling, criticisms, or someone really wanting to debate me, someone saying they disagree with me, that stuff's not necessarily negative. It just makes me feel negative. Life has its struggles. It's hard enough. I'm pregnant. I have zero desire to debate people online. And so I just kind of don't. If you come onto my Instagram picture and you want to start a debate with me or a discussion or a fight, I'm not going to respond to you, because that's not why I'm online. I'm online to connect with like-minded women. I'm online to gain inspiration from other people, to spread some positivity. And I'm online to be a voice for people who often don't get to have their voice heard. Homemakers, traditional women. I'm not online to change non-traditional women into traditional women. That's not my goal. And so people who want to challenge me all the time, it's just not my thing. But again, I wouldn't put that in the category of like trolling. That's very different. But it still does make me feel negative. So I just choose not to engage. And then ultimately, if I pop on Instagram or get an email from someone very seriously harassing me, I will engage in the social media tools of blocking, because that just, it makes me feel more comfortable, because if someone has such ill intentions for you, they want you to die, or they want you to suffer, or they want your child to suffer, your husband to suffer, that's on another level of threatening. And I don't want to give those people access to my content, because that's a little crazy. Maybe they need to forget I exist so they can go be happy in their own life again. So mostly I just don't engage. But I don't ever want people who give me criticism to think that I view them as trolls. I don't. That's not the reason I don't respond. I don't respond because I just don't care about debating about these things. And I'm sorry, but you'll never make me care about defending or debating these ideas. You just won't, because I don't have to be here. I don't have to be online talking about this stuff. I really don't. No one's paying me to do this. It's not lucrative really at all. It's not very energizing to debate this stuff, and I don't have to. And so, yeah, that's kind of my philosophy about it. Someone asked, we're all over the place, like we're doing YouTube and baby, but someone did ask if I'm going to breastfeed. Yes, I'm going to try to breastfeed. We'll see how it goes. I am not against supplementing formula if it's for my mental health, or if I simply don't want to breastfeed anymore, or if we go for 3 or 6 months and I'm done with it. I'm going to be really focused his first year on keeping my mental health on track, because I know that is what makes me the best wife ever. Not ever, the best wife I can be. And I think it'll also help me be the best mother I can be. I know that sometimes when my needs aren't getting met, or I feel kind of sick mentally, like from lack of sleep or, anxiety, depression. In my past, I've struggled with those things at hard times in my life. And I know how I behave and how I process things when I'm in that mental state, and it's not good. And I don't want to mother from that space. And so if breastfeeding, which I'm not saying breastfeeding is going to do this to me, but if it did take a huge toll on my mental health, I would choose to probably formula feed, or, adjust our routine to see if there was a way. And a lot of women, feel so pressured to be the perfect mother, to have that perfectly natural birth and the perfect breastfeeding and the perfect, co-sleeping situation. And it's just a lot of pressure. And so my philosophy since the beginning of pregnancy and going into motherhood is going to be a kind of philosophy of, we don't know what's going to work for us. We're going to shoot for the best. And if we need a supplement, if we need help, we're going to ask for help. If we need a supplement, we're going to supplement. If we need to change up our routine, we're going to change up our routine. I'm not going to force something that's not working just because it's the most healthy. So the goal is to breastfeed. I would love to breastfeed. we will see what happens. Oh, someone asked what my dream house would look like. I love this idea because, like I said earlier, I would have loved to do interior design, but I love English cottage vibes, not quite cottagecore, a little more elevated than that. Alcott Interiors on Instagram, they have just the dreamiest interior design ever. So something kind of, prissy and English looking, a little fancy, British colonial. I love those styles. But I really do love like a Tudor style house, that German look. I just think it's so cool and unique. I really don't like open concept. I love closed concept homes because I love the feeling of when you're in a room, you're in that room and you're not thinking about anything else. And so, I don't know, if we ever built a house or moved, it probably would look a little bit more old-fashioned, but that's just my style. Someone asked, what church denomination are we? We're so this is hard to explain, but basically we switched churches since my Q&A last fall, and we now go to a church that's more affiliated with Reformed Baptist. We were both raised Reformed. My husband was Reformed Presbyterian or something, and I was Christian Reformed, and that's a very specific Christian denomination that has a specific set of beliefs with catechism and creeds and things like that. And so even though we loved the community of the church we were at and we did agree with the core teachings, we wanted something more reformed for our children. The denomination would be most closely affiliated with someone like John MacArthur or Paul Washer, Justin Peters, but our church specifically is technically non-denominational, but that's the denomination that they fit the closest with. Someone asked if I will vlog the birth. No. You guys, if you know me well enough, if you've been here long enough, you already knew the answer to that question. No, that's going to be my first birth ever. I have no idea how it's going to go. And me as a person, I've had to think about this a lot because when you're prepping for birth, your birth class people, they ask you, how do you relax? What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel comfortable? Because you have to prepare for the immense pain you're going to have. So upon reflecting upon what makes me feel relaxed, safe, and comfortable, I would say privacy. I just close in on myself when I need to feel secure. I don't want to worry about like recording things. And so when I imagine my birth, I want my husband and I want the doctors and I don't want a lot of eyes on me because it's such a vulnerable time in a woman's life. So I will not be vlogging the birth. No shade on people though who have been vlogging their births. They are so helpful. I've been enjoying lots of birth vlogs lately, getting prepared for various different scenarios that can happen to you. That's what I love about birth vlogs. But sorry, I will not be vlogging the birth. Oh, someone asked, do I get recognized when I'm out and about? No. No, I would hate that, first of all. Not because I don't want to meet you guys, but just because, again, I'm just so private. I really keep this YouTube and online world so separate from my real life. A lot of my friends and family kind of didn't even know this was a thing until someone else told them, because I didn't go on Facebook and blast all my friends like, watch my latest video. I kept it really separate. Also, I live in a rural Michigan town. I think it would be more likely if I lived in a major city maybe to run into somebody, but no, I don't. Someone asked if I ever feel bored at home. I guess sometimes, very rarely, but I will. And in that case, that's when, my cleaning's all done, my hobbies are all done, I don't want to walk the dog again, and in that situation, I'll leave the house. You don't have to stay at home 24/7 just because you're staying at home. So I'll go see a friend, or I'll go out window shopping or actual shopping, organized to have people come over. It's rare, but when it happens, it's not like it's completely unfixable. Also, I prefer to be at home, and I've really gotten used to it. So I think when I first started staying home, I would feel bored more often, but that was because I wasn't really living that full homemaker lifestyle at that point. I wasn't on a great cleaning routine. I didn't have a lot of hobbies yet. I didn't kind of know how to be at home. And so I employed a lot of practices that I've talked about in my other homemaking videos. And since then, I really love being at home. In fact, I prefer to be at home than on a trip or a getaway with other people. So someone asked, how are we budgeting for baby? This is a great question. I am totally pro frugality. You know, we live on one income with some supplemental ad money from YouTube, but it's not consistent. It's not like a salary. So basically the first week we were pregnant, I had estimated the number, you know, okay, this is probably gonna be a few $1,000s. This is our first baby. We have no equipment. We have no clothing for him. We have nothing for him. So, you know, I know a lot of people say all you need when you leave the hospital is a car seat and the boob and your bed for the baby. Yeah, but I wanted to have a lot more stuff prepared. I wanted to have a nursery for him. I wanted a crib. I wanted to make sure we had, you know, a lot of clothes for him. I wanted to make sure we had blankets, and just that kind of nesting stuff makes me feel really comfortable and safe and secure. I don't think I could leave the hospital with just like the boob, our bed, and a car seat. That would make me cry at night. I like having resources and supplies. And so we did budget a few $1,000s. And then when the pregnancy passed 12 weeks, let's talk about numbers. And so I made a secret baby registry and I registered for everything I thought we would need, added it to my Amazon cart to see, you know, if no one ever got us any gifts, how much money would we have to put forward to get everything we need for the baby. And then as far as insurance, my husband, he is a law enforcement officer and he has fantastic insurance through the state of Michigan. And so first of all, the whole birth is covered. No matter what happens, no matter how many, you know, medical things need to happen, it's all covered by his insurance. And our deductible is $250. We're gonna have to pay $250 to birth this baby. It's a crazy good insurance plan, and I feel extremely privileged to have that. I know that's not common in the United States, and so we've been having great care. And I know babies often cost people thousands of dollars, not just for the equipment, but the birth itself. And then the second thing that is so great, it kind of has to do with budgeting for baby, but my husband will get 12 weeks paid time off for his paternity leave after the baby's born. And that is unheard of in America. I have never heard of any organization offering that, but the law enforcement agency he works for is super pro-family, and they want to have families be happy and the officers, the troopers, to be like stress-free, you know, because then they do a better job. He has a really great benefit package, but keep in mind too, we're renovating the basement. So we've had to budget that as well. And so we had just been saving for a long time. And so we had enough money for the renovation and the baby. God is so good. I know that is not common, but also because we were trying for a year to get pregnant, we were able to save money for it. So I think when you get pregnant out of the blue, it's a lot scarier. But for us, we were hoping and praying for this pregnancy, and so we were able to squirrel away money. Someone asked if we were raised in Reformed Christian households. Yes, we were. Someone asked, have I ever received hate for being a homemaker? Yes, online mostly. In person, nothing that really stands out to me. Like maybe someone could have made like a passive aggressive comment or something, but there's nothing that really stands out as like a significant moment where someone was hating on me for my lifestyle. All of my friends, even my extremely progressive friends, are just happy that I'm happy. And I love that. That's what I think the world should be like, you know, respecting other people's differences and lifestyles. And so, no, I haven't, you know, received hate. But I've heard a lot from you guys that mothers will diss you, or even your fathers, your siblings, your sister-in-laws, friends. People will be like sassy about you staying home. And you've always asked me for advice. I've addressed this in my most recent video before this one. Please watch that. It'll give you some tips for how to handle the negativity that is inevitable. Someone asked, how do I stay unbothered? Oh, this is a great question. I think it's through understanding, I think it's through my beliefs, my faith, and my ultimate worldview and philosophy. So I am a Christian. I am a Reformed Christian. I believe in heaven and hell. I believe that Jesus Christ died for my sins. I believe that I am a sinner that must repent for those sins and accept his payment, because I believe that the penalty for sin is death. I believe all these things. You can look up what Christians believe. I believe that. And because of that, we are taught as Christians that we are to be focused on eternal things, eternal life, our relationships with people, how we treat people, our sin, and our relationship with the Lord. And I think whenever I remain grounded in the reality of my personal worldview, the earth is not my home. That's what a lot of Christians believe. That's what I believe. This world is not my home. This world is guaranteed to hurt us. This world is guaranteed to have brokenness. And so whenever I get really heated or worked up about things that are happening to me on this earth, I of course process what I'm going through. I don't shove it down. But then I reflect on eternal life and how fleeting this world is. And I know that might sound totally crazy to you if you're not a Christian, but that's a very basic, common Christian belief, practice, worldview. And so my reflection on God's greatness, my minuscule existence, and the reality of eternal life, it helps me stay unbothered. I know that's probably such a crazy answer to some of you, but I'm a Christian. Don't come to my channel expecting me to not have these beliefs or to not be a Christian. These things guide my life. I'm more than happy to have people of various beliefs and backgrounds, but you cannot expect me to not have these beliefs. It's who I am. And so just being grounded in my faith, I would definitely say that helps me stay unbothered, because ultimately, no matter what happens on this earth, like what happened to Job, say I lose my health, my family, my money, my house, everything, I'll still have the Lord, and I'll have his forgiveness and his presence in my life, and he will never abandon me. But that doesn't mean I'm going to not suffer. It just means that God is with me. And, if you want more of this kind of stuff, discussions on Christianity, follow this girl named Allie on Instagram. I will put her handle here. She's fantastic. She really goes through a lot of heavy-hitting Christian worldviews and beliefs, and she's very accessible and aesthetic as well. So, how do I stay unbothered? By the knowledge of the Lord Jesus Christ. All right, someone asked if I'm scared of weight gain in pregnancy. No, I think now is probably the time I'm gonna start being more noticeably heavy. Maybe I'll start retaining more fluid and stuff. But I'm not worried about it. Pregnancy is not a permanent state. If I wanna go super health nut after I'm a mom, I can. But if I want to just adjust to my new body, I can also do that. I feel like there's a lot of options. The thing is, you have to gain weight in pregnancy. The baby, the blood, the amniotic fluid, everything, has a weight to it. But I don't weigh myself, so I don't think it was front of mind. I did think a little bit more about how my body shape would change, but at the same time, I've always had extra fat, womanly fat on my body. I've always had fat around my hips and my legs, even my lower legs. I've had larger chest my whole life. And so I wasn't too worried about extra fat in those areas that they say you'll get extra fat, because I've dealt with that. It's fine. I would say more the healing after giving birth is what's on my mind. Healing down there. That kind of stuff is more on my mind versus gaining or losing weight. Someone asked what are my favorite theologians or pastors. I would say John MacArthur, Voddie Baucham, Justin Peters, Paul Washer, and Albert Mohler. They're all on YouTube. Highly recommend. Someone asked what my perfect date is. And I would definitely say going to a wedding, a good wedding. I love going to weddings for a date, because it's not the free food. It's not that. It's being around other people in an activity together where you get to dress up, you get to see romance, you get to learn about other people, you get to dance, and you get a little treat, you get to gift them with something. It's just so fun. And then combine that with your best friend and the love of your life dancing with you or dressing up with you. It's just so fun. I finally opened my P.O. box mail, and one of you invited me to your weddings in January. And honestly, my husband looked at each other and we were like, if you weren't 37 weeks pregnant on the date of that wedding, we would go, because that's how much we love going to weddings. Someone asked, why don't I do interviews or collaborations? And I would say that's probably due to a combination of laziness and also a lack of interest in those kind of discussions. Like I said earlier, I don't really want to debate. I'm not here to defend these beliefs against the world. I'm not like here to spread the gospel of homemaking. I'm more here to just say like, here's how I live my life. If you relate, I'm happy that you're here. Even if you don't relate, I'm happy that you're here. And here's some vlogs of me homemaking. That's pretty much the whole purpose of me being online, just to kind of show what it's like to be a homemaker. And then finally too, the laziness. Like I would rather spend time making a vlog for you guys or just with my family or my husband than I would really engaging and trying to build my audience online. Someone asked if I spend a lot of time alone. Not really. This is what people might not realize because I don't show my husband all the time, but he is there. He's actually in the house right now. He's sleeping because of his night shift. And oftentimes he's behind me as I'm filming something for Instagram in front of me, you know. We spend a lot of time together, and I also do a lot of things that I just don't share. I see a lot of friends. I go on coffee dates. I am not alone so much. You know, during lockdown in the beginning of the pandemic, of course, but everyone was alone. So it wasn't special because I was a homemaker. And so I would definitely say your social life is what you make it before you have kids. After I'm a mom, who knows how much I'm gonna be alone. Someone asked if people disapproved of me being a homemaker without children. Maybe, but not that I ever really heard of. Again, it's pretty common where I live and where I'm from. And so it's not the most crazy lifestyle ever. I would say online they did. They called me useless and a leech. And what am I? I was a leech upon my husband, a leech upon society, while simultaneously very privileged, and my husband was my slave. You know, like a lot of people were offended by it. Does that affect my life that random strangers online were offended by my lifestyle? Not really. Not unless I'm reading their emails every day and meditating on their words, which I would never do. So yeah, I received negativity, but if you're just like an average person without a social media following and you have loving family members and friends, you're not going to get as much hate as for your lifestyle as you might think you would. Someone asked if I ever feel resentful doing the majority of the housework. No, because does my husband ever feel resentful bringing home the majority of the money that pays for this house, my food, my clothes, my makeup, our dog? You know, it can be such a narrow-minded way to look at division of labor, like whoever's cleaning the toilets is the oppressed person. But if I'm cleaning toilets and my husband is going to work a 12-hour shift multiple times a week, I would rather clean the toilets, you know? And so I think people often really look down on housework, which I think is also a problem in our society. I don't think we should look down on people who do physical labor with their hands. There's plenty of people who do housework for a living. We need to respect it. And also, no, like if I would ever start to feel resentful for doing the majority of the housework, then that gives my husband full license for feeling resentful for bringing home the majority of the money. That just doesn't make any sense. Also, when we were both working, I believed in a 50-50 housework split model, which is what we did. He made half the meals, he did half the cleaning, and I think that's how it should be, you know, to retain sanity if you're both working. But because I don't work, of course I'm going to do the homemaking roles. And no, I do not feel resentful. I think also if you're feeling resentful, you should meditate and be on the fact that your husband is working to pay for everything that you're enjoying, and just focus on gratitude, because resentment like that in a marriage is so poisonous. Someone asked, how did I learn to properly organize? I share my organization all the time on Instagram. If you're interested, you can follow me there for that. I would say because my mother was extremely organized. Our house was like probably cleaner than this all the time, and we regularly purged our closets, we regularly purged our storage room together, we regularly purged our fridge. We were always in a constant state of organizing, and it wasn't like traumatic. I'm happy I had that experience because it really helped me learn to organize. And a lot of people, when they start organizing, they think, okay, I'm gonna go to Walmart and I'm gonna get a bunch of storage boxes, and then I'll bring them home and I'll organize. But really what you need to do is start with decluttering. And there's some great podcasts I will link below that can help you get started. Okay, so someone asked about if I'm still calorie counting. No, because I'm pregnant. I'm eating when I'm hungry. I would not do that unless it was like calorie counting to make sure I was getting a certain amount. Because yeah, I'm not focused on like losing weight or anything or maintaining a lower weight during pregnancy. We're trying to get me up on the scale because we want baby boy. Can we see him? We want baby boy to be healthy, and to do that you need to gain weight. Someone asked, what is my birth plan? We kind of talked about this at the beginning of the video, so maybe we'll finish out with this. I'm so sorry, this Q&A is going to be really long, but I don't make videos very often anymore, so I think I am just going to leave this super long. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, you know, I literally just read in Proverbs today about how many are the plans of man, but God determines his ways. You know, so I can make my birth plan all I want, but who knows if it's actually going to happen. So instead of talking about a birth plan, I will tell you my birth goals. My goals are to have a vaginal birth and to have a healthy baby afterwards. Whatever it takes for that to happen. And obviously if I had to have a C-section for medical reasons, I'm totally fine with that. I just would hope to not have a C-section for my first birth because I'm hoping to have more children, and I don't want to have to deal with the conflict of can you have a vaginal birth after a C-section, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's different in various hospitals and different states, and so I just don't want that complication for my future pregnancy. So hoping for vaginal birth, hoping for a healthy baby, and I would absolutely appreciate your prayers as we embark on this journey. I have been talking, even if this video isn't an hour and a half long, that's how long I've been talking for. So I am going to end it here. I want to say a huge thank you again for your patience in this time in my life. Some of you did ask, you know, am I going to leave YouTube after the baby's born? I don't think so. But I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know how it's going to be. And again, it's always my instinct to kind of like curl in on myself and to focus on my real life when I'm in a vulnerable state. And being a new mom is a vulnerable state. So I could see that my instinct would be to get some distance from the online world. But at the same time, I love so many of you and I have a desire to share. So we will see. It's all going to be up in the air. Try to have zero expectations and we'll go from there. But just know that I think about you guys every day. You sending me mail to my P.O. box, it made my husband and I, we were just smiling so big talking about it. It was just magical reading about your stories, reading about, you know, your thoughts about things, and reading your encouragement and your prayers for us. It was beautiful. So if you want to send things to my P.O. box, it is linked below. If you're interested in more of this kind of content, I have 3 other Q&As you can find on my channel. Maybe I'll make a playlist that I will also link below. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. I usually post daily stories. And I do have a written blog, although I have not been blogging much lately, but there is a huge catalog of blog posts going back to the fall of 2018. And so there's lots of content out there for you guys. But in general, I hope that you have a wonderfully blessed and fruitful week, my beautiful sisters.